Hello and welcome to Sunday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where today we've got a debut on the channel for the constructor Menu. I hope I'm saying that properly. It's a puzzle called Low Clouds in a German City, and this has been very strongly recommended to us by the maths professor Dorlir, and our testers as a result had a look at it and they say this is a brilliant puzzle. It's a bit older than the puzzles that we tend to do, so I think it came out in about September last year, but anyway, this is what we're going to have a go at, and it involves not only German whispers lines. Don't worry if you don't know what a German whispers line is, I will explain it in a moment, but it involves skyscrapers. And that allows me to get out the animation that was made for us specially by the YouTuber Chain Bear, who is a friend of the channel. And I always like getting out that animation because it's so breathtakingly brilliant. It makes me feel very daft that I can't do things like that. But Chain Bear is a legend for making it for us. And I will reveal all of these things in a moment or two's time. I've got some things to tell you about first. On Wednesday night at 10 PM UK time, we are going to be streaming an attempt at a game called Hexcells. Here it is. Apparently there are other versions of Hexcells too. I've been advised to get all of them. And Hexcells, I think, is a game of Minesweeper, but with hexagons rather than squares. So anyway, this is what Mark and I are going to be doing. Let's see how it goes, but I'm sure it'll be fun whatever happens. So that's coming on Wednesday evening, and we'd obviously love to have your company. Over on Patreon, we've got our January competition running. You've still got nearly a week if you want to be in with a chance of winning the competition. The 20th is the deadline. All the fun of the fair is the name of the sudoku hunt. That is plenty of time. 6 days is plenty of time to get your solutions in. And do remember, if you're working on the puzzles and you get stuck, over on the fan Discord server, there's a link on how to join that under the video. It's totally free to join. There is a special Patreon only channel where patrons have been known to exchange ideas about what they need to do next. I will say no more. And now I've got one birthday to do today, a very special birthday with an outrageous chocolate cake. I'm going to say happy birthday to Carol, who turns 81 today over there in Brooklyn, New York. And I know this because your son Darren wrote to us, Carol. And in fact, Darren, I need to apologise, well, to both of you, because I think Darren wrote last year as well for your 80th birthday, but I didn't ever see the email. So I'm so sorry I didn't read out your birthday last year. But basically, Darren's email said that he loves you dearly, and you've each been tremendous supports, pillars of support to each other for the last few years during the pandemic, and that's lovely to hear. And I know the cake you're getting, Carol. I mean, this is an outrageous cake. It's called a Brooklyn Blackout Cake, and I would love to try one of these. Look at this thing. Look at that thing. I mean, I'm just looking at it thinking, oh my goodness, that is a cake that looks absolutely delicious. I mustn't think about that too much. It doesn't look very good for you, I have to say, but never mind. That's not the point of very good chocolate cakes. And Carol, I hope you have a great birthday today. And that is, I think, all of the news. So why don't we turn our attention to Low Clouds in a German City. I don't know why it's called German City. Maybe Menu is from Germany. These are the rules. We've got normal Sudoku rules apply. So we have to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, in every column, and in every 3x3 box. Green lines are German whispers lines. Adjacent digits on a green line must differ by at least 5. So imagine this square here was a 1. This square here would have to be at least equal to 6, because these need to be at least 5 apart. So it could be 6, 7, 8 or 9. That would be how the difference would have to work. Now, now we're going to get into skyscrapers rules, although these have a twist. It says each digit in the grid represents the height of a skyscraper located in that cell. Clues outside the grid indicate the number of visible skyscrapers from that direction, with taller skyscrapers blocking the view of smaller skyscrapers behind them. However, due to low-hanging clouds in the city today, skyscrapers from 5 or lower are never visible for clues outside the grid. Therefore, those clues can only see skyscrapers from 6 or higher. Now, let me show you Chain Bear's fabulous little graphic to explain how skyscrapers work for anybody who's not seen them before. So you can see the digits there. So this is the complete row of, is this row 5? And you can see the digits, and Chain Bear has made it so that these digits sort of equate to skyscrapers of heights equal to the size of the digit. So the 1 is the smallest, the 9 is the biggest. And then looking from that direction, the clue would be 5. So this is ignoring this thing about the low-hanging clouds. Why would the clue be 5? Well, you'd see the 2, you'd see the 4 over the top of the 2, you'd see the 5 looming over the 4, but you wouldn't see the 1 and the 3 because the 5 would obscure them. Then you'd see the 7, and you'd see the 9, and you can't see anything behind the 9 because no skyscraper is greater than 9. So from this direction you could see 5 skyscrapers, hence the clue is 5. Now, a test to see if you've understood this is to imagine what would the clue be if it was on the other side of the grid. Let's see what Chain Bear thinks it should be. And from here it should be a 2, because you'd see the 8 and you see the 9 looming over the 8, but that is all you would see. So that is how to do skyscrapers. Now in this puzzle it's a bit more complicated, because what we're told is the cloud is so low that only... Oh, I said, but only... Alexa, my New Year's resolution was to turn you off at the wall, and I'm going to try and carry out that resolution at any moment. Anyway, these 3 clues are saying we see 3 skyscrapers, but that must be 3 skyscrapers from the 6 or higher skyscrapers. So we're basically ignoring any buildings that are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in height in doing these clues outside the grid. Do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. I don't know how hard this is, but now I get to play. Let's get cracking. And I will imagine we're going to have to major on the secrets today of German whispers lines. So I will just regurgitate to you all the secrets I know about German whispers lines. So first secret is that you can never put a 5 on a whispers line. And that's because the next digit is then impossible. If you put a 5 here, this digit needs to be at least 5 different from 5. So if we go downwards, we get to 0 or lower numbers. They're not Sudoku digits. If we go upwards, we get to 10 or higher, and they're not Sudoku digits. So 5 can't go on the line. That means every digit on the line can be thought of as either having the property of being below 5 or above 5. But let's think about what happens if this was lower than 5. What would this digit be? Could it also be lower than 5? And the key to realise is no, of course it can't, because no 2 of these digits are 5 apart. Even if we pick the 1 and the 4, they're only 3 apart. So actually, what you have to do is oscillate along the line. You have to sort of go low, high, low, high, low, high. Now obviously we don't know yet whether this one is low or high to start the sequence, but we do know that we'll have oscillation along the green line. So that's the second secret. There is a third secret, which is to do with the nature of some digits. Now 2 of the digits in particular are very hard to put on green lines because they only have one Sudoku partner. They are monogamous, and they are the digits 4 and 6. So consider whether we could put 4 in the middle of the line. And the answer is no, because if you do, the only digit that can accompany 4 on a whispers line is the digit 9, and you'd have to put 9 in both positions. And that's because the only valid Sudoku digit that is at least 5 different from 4 is the 9. So you could never put 4 or 6, it has the same property, in the middle of a line. Or in a position, you could put it, no, you couldn't put it here because these 2 would see each other. But in situations where the two neighbours don't see each other, it is possible to put, what about that one? Let's just have a quick look at that. Could that be a 6? Well, actually it couldn't, because we've got a 1 in the grid. Ignore the 1 in the grid. It then could be, because these 1s, which would be forced onto the whisper, wouldn't see each other by the mechanism of Sudoku. So that's all the secrets I know about German whispers lines. Do I know any secrets about skyscrapers? No. No is the short answer. I can tell you that these squares are not 9s, because 9 is the tallest skyscraper and blocks the view. So if you put 9 here, this clue would have to be a 1, I think. So I suspect what we have to do here, well, yeah, I mean, I suspect what we're going to have to do is to shade this line in according to the polarity along the line. So if we oscillate along the line, those digits, I think, are all of one polarity. We don't know whether it's low or high yet. So these digits are going to be of the other polarity. Now, what does that mean? So, okay, so in one colour, which is this colour, these are either 1, 2, 3, 4, or they're 6, 7, 8, 9, because they're all of the same polarity. So they must be all the high digits or all the low digits. Ah, okay. So I was a bit fortunate here, because when I was looking for a digit that that could be a 6 or a 4, I alighted on this square. And I think that was a very fortunate occurrence, actually, because now I want to ask the question, can orange be high? And it can't be, because which of these orange digits are we going to decide to make a 6? If we do make the oranges high, we've got to make one of them a 6. Well, it can't be this one. That would be surrounded by double 1. It can't be this one. That would be surrounded by double 1. It can't be that one because of the example where we noticed the given 1 was locking out this square, and it can't be this one for the same reason. This would be a 1, and this little beautiful 1 in row 6, column 9 prevents any oranges being high digits. So these are low digits, and that's going to be a massive, massive win. So now all of a sudden we've got this sort of configuration for our top green line. Now we can probably improve upon this. This can't be 6. That would include double 1. That can't be 6. That can't be 6. That can't be 6. Right, so we immediately get a 7, 8, 9 triple in, and that can't be 6. Let's actually complete all of the blues. Again, that would cause double 1 here. Now that can't be 4, because that's going to have the same issue with 9. That can't be 4. That one I'm less sure about. If that's 4, that seems to cause double 9, and that might be okay. If that's 4, that's 9. That might be okay. Right. Right. So we got somewhere, didn't we? But we didn't get very far. And okay. But where are we putting 5 and 6 in row 3 now? We've effectively got a septuplet, a heptuplet of digits. 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple, a 7, 8, 9 triple. So these digits have to be the other digits, so they have to be a 5, 6 pair. Oh, right, yes, okay, so now we have to think about this skyscrapers thing, don't we? Because the 3, if this was a 9, even if this was 6, you'd only see 2 skyscrapers, so that's definitely not 9. So the 9 is in one of those 2 cells. Can it be? Oh, bobbins, it can be here. Only just. If it's here, let me show you. If this is 9, then we have to see 3 skyscrapers, which are the 6, 7, 8, 9 skyscrapers. So that would have to be 6 then. Because if this was 5, you'd only see this one. And you'd see 2 skyscrapers. Okay, but one of... Oh, this is very strange. Okay, one of these digits is a 9, and it has to obey its skyscraper vertically. So, I mean, imagine if that's a 9. So all the high digits... Yeah, okay, so if this is a 9, this is clearly then not a 9. But to get to a count of 3 seen skyscrapers in this vertical direction, this is going to have to be a 6, 7 or 8, and this is going to have to be a 6, 7 or 8. Well, no, more precisely, 6 would have to be here, wouldn't it? And this would have to be whatever this isn't. So this would be 7 or 8. Ah, right. Okay, okay. So what I'm seeing there is, I think this is going to have an effect down here somehow. God, this is already very interesting, actually. So we've got to... Hang on, that can be 9 again, can't it? One of these is 9. Above it, whichever one of these is 9, has 2 blue digits above it. And what? So, okay, so there is a 6 in one of these, definitely. And that's going to be above whichever one of these is 9. Let's actually put the 9 corner pencil mark in to sort of hammer that home. One of these is a 7 or an 8. And it's the opposite of whatever's not the 9 in row 3. I think what I'm going to do there is I'm going to do that and that. Just to try and remind me that I've got a stripe of blue occurring in either here or here. Now, the reason I think we might have to therefore think about this arrangement at the bottom is that in one of either column 4 or column 6, almost all of the blue digits are going to be used up. And yet in a run of three, well, in a run of 2 sudoku or green line digits, you're going to have, in fact, that, yeah, one of these has to be blue, doesn't it? Isn't that what we're learning here? Because along this line, if this line had the well, it's difficult. It's really difficult, this, because we don't know which way around the blue lines go. But just imagine this is the line of blue. Then we know one of these is blue, and we know one of these is blue because the lines oscillate. So we couldn't have those 2 as blue. That would put 5 blues in the column, and 6, 7, 8, and 9 are 4 different digits, so we'd necessarily repeat a digit. So one of these is the final blue in a column. Okay, and then but then now are these in the same position? So if that's blue. If that's blue, that would be blue. Oh, bother. No, they're not. No, they're not. So I was thinking then, have I definitely established the polarity of this line? I.e., could I alternate shade it? Blue, blue, blue. But then it's not going to be symmetrical. Okay, so what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to shade this bottom line a different colour. So let's try that. I think those look like they have to be the same. So those have to be the same. Which colour should we have for that? Dark green? Grey? I think I probably prefer grey. So I know one of these digits is the final blue in its column. And in that column, so say it was this column that had the blue, we'd have a 6 here and a 9 here. So this digit would be a 7 or an 8. Okay, here is a funny point about box 8. I'm just going to check that my mouth hasn't written a check my brain can't cache, actually. I think it's fine. Yeah, none of these digits can be a monogamous digit, a 4 or a 6. Because if you try and put 4 or 6, I think, into any of these squares, you will cause, I mean, if you tried here, you will cause double 9. If you try here, you will cause double 9, for example, if these were 4s. So that means that these digits, and there are 3 high and 3 low in some configuration, these are the digits 1, 2, 3, 7, 8 and 9, and that the corollary of that is that these are the digits 4, 5 and 6. And that is potentially absolutely useless. Oh no. Okay, sorry. I thought that might be an intelligent comment, but no. Let's try. I'm sure what we have to do somehow is to work out which way round. Which one of these is 6? I can't quite see how to do it. So or maybe we have to think about the other line. So if this was 6 and this was 9. Yes. Ah, beautiful, beautiful. Right. These don't include 8. Let me show you why. It's very, very pretty. Imagine this was an 8-9 pair. Whichever line of this is a line of blue, let's make it this one. If this is a line of blue, then we know this has no blues in it because we've used all 4 blues from the box. So, if this was 8, and this was 9, and this was 6, and this was 7, how do we make our 3 skyscraper work in this column? We're not seeing any skyscrapers here because these can't be 6, 7 or 9. So we see the 8, which is the second tallest skyscraper, and we can see a 9 somewhere in the column, but that means this will be a 2 clue. And it's not a 2 clue, it's a 3 clue. Now consider how this would change if this was a 7. Now, although neither of these are blue, we could see 7, we could see 8 somewhere down here, and then we could see 9 below the 8, and we would get to a 3 count. So these must be, they must be 9, 7. That we still don't know anything about where any of these digits actually go. But well, now we do know there's an 8 in one of these, because it's going to be a 6, 8, 9 triple either here or here. This is 7, 9. This is 8 by sudoku. 8 can't go next to 4 because they're not 5 apart. So we've got the makings of a 1, 2 or a 2, 3 pair or a 1, 3 pair here. Ah, bingo. And now row 3, well, row 3 almost has the same problem we were establishing up here. How do I get to a count of 3 skyscrapers? Well, I can't see the 8 as my first skyscraper, so I must see the 6. So that's got to be 6. That's got to be 5. That's... we might as well blue it, actually. The 5 will sit outside the colours. 5s are so naughty on German Whispers. So we're now going to see 6, 8... but we never see the 7, so we don't know whether this is 9 or this is 9, because this could be 9, because the 7 would sit between the 8 and the 9, but it would be unseen. So we can't quite... Ooh. No, there's got to be a high digit, obviously, on here. It's a 7 or a 9 now, because it can't be 6 or 8. 8's in one of these 3 squares by a process known as sudoku, which I will employ if under absolute duress. Okay. Now what do we do? So maybe we've got to think about... Well, does that affect... Yeah, I see. Right, okay, so one of these is 6, 8, 9. We don't know which one. But we did work out that one of these was a blue digit, didn't we? In that column where we had the 6, 8, 9, if it was here, we can't have 2 more blues in the column, so this is going to be the extra blue. And we actually now know it's a 7. So one of these is a 7, definitely. And 7 is an interesting number because it's not monogamous, but it's nearly monogamous. It nearly is. And therefore, what I mean by that is 7 can only be next to 1 and 2 on its whisper. Now look, neither of those can be a 1. Imagine this was a 7. This square has to be a 1 or a 2 to be 5 different, and it can't be 1. And if this is a 7, this can't be 1. So there's a 2 in one of these squares, which means, and that 2 will see the digit below the 7 in its column, which will force that to be a 1. So there is now a 1 in one of these, a 7 in one of these, and a 2 in one of these. And that's going to mean, wow, what about those? Oh, it's very difficult to pencil mark that. whichever one of these is 7 is going to have a 1 or a 2 next to it. In one, oh, if it was there, that would be a 1, 2, 3 triple. That, no, no. I was going to say it would put a lot of pressure on this digit, but, well, it wouldn't prevent it from being low. That could be low with a 4, and that could be a 9. That wouldn't clash here. Okay, so perhaps what we're meant to do is to ask about... So one of these columns is 6, 8, 9. There is definitely a 9 in one of these with a 7 beneath it. Then in the other column we have a 7 here as the first skyscraper digit, and we've got to see 8 and 9 in the correct order. But if it was this way around, these would be high, wouldn't they? So either these are both high or these are both high. Now, yes, okay. This, by the way, is a terrific setting, because the way that these lines interact is quite outstandingly clever. Right, what I've noticed now is, and I think the best way to show this might be by example, but look, if this is 7, 9, let's have a think about this column now. We know these digits were not high digits, because this is 6, 8. So we know we've got to put 8 and 9 into this column somewhere, but we know, because of polarity, if you like, because this has become a 7 in this column, we know that the high digits on the bottom line are the grey digits, so these two are high. And high digits are very interesting because we've got to fulfill the 3 clue at the top of column 4. And this is all completely symmetrical. If this was the 9 and this was the 7, we'd just be saying the same thing about the purple digits. But neither of these digits can actually be 6, which is huge. This can't be 6. Because there's got to be a 1 sitting beneath the 7 in one of these two squares in box 8. This can't be 6 because that would cause double 1 as with the monogamous problem. Sorry, that can't be 6. Oh yeah, I think I did say that can't be 6. So that means that these two digits, if we were in this paradigm where this is the 7, this has to be 8 and this has to be 9. And vice versa. If this was 7 and this was 9, this has to be 8 and this has to be 9. So we need to unwind here a little bit, and we need to say that one of these is 8, so this is a 2, 8 pair. One of these is 9, which is a 1, 9 pair therefore in the column. Let's get rid of the corner pencil mark. And what does that mean? Apologies if you can immediately see what that means. I'm not seeing it yet. One of these is 7. And the other one... Oh, so I see. The other one is a... So if this is 7, this has got to be a low digit sitting between an 8 and a 9. And it can't be a 1, and it can't be a 4, because 4 is too close to 8. So this would be a 2 or a 3. So these squares are from 2, whoopsie, they're from 2, 3, and 7. And one of them is a 7, definitely. And, okay. So now, here's one thing I've spotted as a result of this, which is in this box, 8 is in one of those squares. And that sees that digit, look, so that's no longer 8. Nine, by X-wing logic, look, is in one of these 3 squares. There's no 9 here, and there's no 9 here, so the 9 in column 5 has to be in one of those 2 squares. Now, we probably don't want it to be here, because if it's here it puts no pressure on these orange digits, whereas if it's here that becomes 7 and that has to be a 1, 2 pair, which does feel interesting. Oh, that's a little point. One of these is a 7. Don't know which one, but we can't have this being 3 therefore, because whichever one of these is 7 will be too close to 3 on the line, so that's a 1 or a 2. So now 4 is... oh, that's beautiful. Right. I could have done this before, didn't spot it. But look, along this line, where's the 4? It's in one of these 2 squares. So this is always 9, because 4 is monogamous. Doesn't matter which of these is 4, it always forces this to be 9. That forces this to be 7, which is exactly what we were hoping for. We get a 1-2 pair here. This is 9. Yeah, yes. Now where is 2 in box 8? This is remarkable. It's absolutely remarkable. 2 has to be in one of these 2 squares. So this became a 2-7 pair. And now I've got an X-wing on... Oh, well, now I've got a 2-8 pair. Sorry, I didn't see that. So that's 1, that's 2. That's been available for a while as well. Now these squares have to be 3 and 8. And... I feel like that's useful, but I can't see why. Well, let's have a quick think about the columns logic then, where we've not put 4, 5 and 6 in, and 6 is in one of these because of the skyscraper. So this is a 4-5 pair, this is a 6, this is not 6, this is 4-5. Where's 5 in box number 9 now? Well, it's not there, it's not there. There's one place it can't go, which is on Whispers lines, so it's 5 goes there. There's a 5 in one of these. Yes, no, nearly. Yes, okay, I'm going to play that same game with a slightly different geometric consideration with 6s in box 7. Where is 6 in box 7? Now, it's in one of those 4 squares. And that should immediately, if immediately you see this, you should be thinking, well, can we put 6 on the Whisper? Because 6 is hard to put on Whispers because it's monogamous. Well, we definitely can't put 6 here, because that's going to cause double 1. So it's definitely not there. Now, it can't be in these squares, look. Because if either of these is a 6, what's this digit? It's 1 by monogamousness, and there's a 1 in the row. So these are not 6, that's a 6. Which means 6 is in one of those 3. 6 is in one of these 3. I have a horrible feeling this isn't going to go anywhere. I mean, I must now be able to differentiate or coordinate orange and blue and grey and purple somehow. Maybe I can get these digits now. I know... Yeah, okay. Yeah, so whichever one of these is 7, what's the digit on its right or left hand side? Well, 7 is nearly monogamous. It can only partner up with 1s and 2s, but the 2 is already in the row. So whichever one of these is 7 has a 1 in one of those squares, definitely. Gosh, if it was here, this would finish this off. But whichever one of these is 2 has to have a high digit on its right or left hand side. And that high digit can't be 6 or 7, so it would have to be 8 or 9. Don't know. It doesn't appear to be resolved, actually. I'm so sorry if everyone's shouting at me. I can't hear you. I wish I could. I really do. I sort of do. What is it then? Is it going to be... I mean, it's possible it's one of these or one of these. I don't think it can be a 2-cell Whisper. I mean, this one is under the most pressure for the high digit on it, but I think it could still be 7 or 9. Absolutely. I mean, this just doesn't feel like it's under any pressure at all. So perhaps, yes. All right, I'm going to look at this Whisper because I can see something about this square, which can't be 6 or 7 by Sudoku or 9 by Sudoku in the column. So if this was a high digit, it's got to be 8. Now 8, then, well, this would then be a low digit by polarity, which couldn't be 1 or 2, so it would have to be 3, because 4 and 8 are only 4 apart. And this digit would then be, it couldn't be 1, and it couldn't be 3, and it couldn't be 4, so it would be 2. So that's hugely constrained. If this is high, there's literally only one way this line gets filled. However, I know what you're all saying. You're saying, well, yeah, but it could be low, and you're quite right. Well, no, it's still good. It's still good. Because if it's low, what digit is it? Well, remember these squares had to include a 1, because one of these is 7 and has to have 1 next to it, because one of these is 2. So it can't be a 1, it can't be a 2, it can't be a 4, because that's going to double 9 the whisper, so it is a 3. So this square is either 3 or 8. Now if this is 3, now there's definitely an 8 on this whisper then, because if this is 3, this has to be an 8-9 pair. In fact, it would have to be a 9 here and an 8 here. Yeah, okay, so remember what we said. We said this could be 8, but if this is not 8 and this is 3, there is an 8 here. So there is definitely an 8 in one of these, which means this is not 8. There's definitely a 3 on here, isn't there, in one of those squares as well, by exactly the same logic, because either this is a 3, or if this is 8, that is 3. So there's definitely a 3 in here. No, I thought I'd seen a 3-8 pair there, but I haven't. That's definitely not a 3-8 pair. Bother. That digit. Okay, so if that was 9, that would also be 9, because these are obviously the same polarity. They're in fact the very same digit. So that digit's down there somewhere, but we literally know nothing about 1s and 9s in columns 1, 2 and 3, so I don't think we can do that. So let's instead, I don't know if it's going to be this one. It could be. Don't feel, oh yeah, okay. So the same sort of consideration applies to this digit. It can't be 6, 9 or 8 if it's high, so it would have to be 7, which we know has to go with 1 or 2. So this would be a 1-2 pair, and this would be a 7, but 1 and 2 don't see anything useful there. Can we do anything better with that? I can actually get 4 in that box I've just seen by Sudoku. I hadn't seen that before. So that must put pressure on. No. Well, yeah, okay, so 7 in this row is definitely in one of 2 places. I feel like this wants to be 7. If that's 7, this digit is 2, 3, or no, it's 2 or 3. Because it can't be 8. Okay, so we probably have to think about what happens if this is a low digit, which I will do in a moment. So let me think about this a bit more. Can I do anything with this 4? Don't think so. Right, so we're going to have to think about what happens if this is a low digit. Now if it's low, it can't be 1 and it can't be 4. So it's 2 or 3. Let me just think about that for a second. I don't know. Can't really see much restriction on that. I mean, if it's 2 or 3, if it's 3, it is an 8-9 pair here. I mean, that's very true. But if it's 2, like, oh no, hang on, we know the 7 is here. Ah, okay. So whether it's 2 or 3, these digits are restricted. Ah, beautiful. Right. So this pair of digits is either an 8-9 pair, or it's a 1-2 pair. So here is my question. How could this pair of digits be the same polarity? How could we shade? We know these digits could be coloured either grey or purple, because they're both of one polarity due to Whisper's logic. Well, let's try and colour them grey and make them the same as this. That cannot be right, can it? Because this now would have to be an 8-9 triple, and there is no such thing as an 8-9 triple or a 1-2 triple. Those things do not exist. You would have to repeat a digit. So these, in fact, have to be purple. And therefore what? Well, therefore we have done it. This is absolutely beautiful. Menu, take a bow, because this is beautiful. That digit's now resolved. Because, imagine again, if we're in a world where purple digits are high, what are these 3 digits? They all have to be selected from 8 and 9, and there are 3 of them in the same row, so you'd have to repeat a digit. So we can't have that. These have to be low digits, and if these are low digits, then this is a 1-2-3 triple, and the only place 3 can go is there. So that's 8. So 8's a high digit. So let's just fill those in. Oh, we don't actually get to do that. Well, we get to do that one. Yeah, this is going to have a massive effect on the top of the grid, because now we could recolour all of grey and purple if we so desired. But let's just carry on for a moment, enjoying our small win. This is low digits. Oh, surely this is resolved. Is it? Yeah, look, that's now a 2. So now we know this is low, which means this is 8, which means this is 9. Now we know these were low, don't we? So this was a 7, which is what I thought it was going to be. I've now got a 1-2-3 triple in this column. Okay. I suppose we know those digits. They've got to be 6, 7 and 9. Which means, oh, I thought I was going to get a 3 in the corner because somehow I didn't see that one. But I'm going to get an 8 in the corner. Well, that's still a very welcome thing to get. That's an 8 by sudoku. 8 is in one of these 2 squares now. This is a 1, so we can take 1 out of here. Can we do better than that? I think probably what I'm supposed to do here is to note that now we know this is 9, we know it's got 6 and 8 in its column, don't we? So I'm definitely going to blue those, because that's been the whole crux of what we've been trying to establish. So this is a 1-3 pair now. We don't have to worry about that from a skyscraper's perspective. These squares are from 4, 5 and 6. That's just what we have left to put into the column. And these squares are from 3, 4 and 5. Okay. And we can therefore... how do we finish this off now? Or is there more rinky-dinkage that we're going to have to figure out? There's a 4, 5 pair here. So that's a 3. And for our next trick, we will argue about... We might well have to think hard about some of these other small lines now. Have we fully done the skyscraper edges? I think we have. Totally filled the line at the bottom of the grid. So probably I meant to... I don't know actually. No, I thought I might be able to do some sudoku with 9s, and that failed me. What about sudoku with... don't know. I don't know what to do. I'm not quite sure where to look actually. It's probably one of these other lines. Let's have a look at this line just in case this is the key line. So what do we know about what can go on this? Apparently it can't have 8 or 9 on it. Oh, I see. It's got to have 7 on it. Yeah, it's as simple as that. It can't have 8 or 9 as its high digit. It must have a high digit because it's 2 cells long. And it can't have 6 on it because 6 would require a 1. So it has got a 7 on it, which means it's got a 2 on it, because it can't have a 1 on it, and the 2 is going to go there. That's lovely, actually. It's so straightforward once you indulge in the thought process. So this is now, that's 7, that's 9, and that might do. No, it still doesn't want to do everything. Well, it has done something, though, because this digit now sees all the high digits, doesn't it? It sees 6, 7, 8, 9, so that must be a low digit. Let's just put in all the options and see what we can do. So this digit is now high and is 7 or 9, and it's not 7, so that's 9, which unfortunately does give this the right to be a 4. But there is now a 9 in one of these two squares, not on this whisper. How can this not be resolved? Okay, let's go back to maybe. Can we get some more digits in somehow, some way? Oh, nearly. I could nearly do something with 2s. Don't know. All right, let's try. I mean, if this is a low digit, it has to be a 2. So that would be a 2. This would then have to be 7, 8, or 9. It would actually have to be a 7. So 2, 7 is one possibility. If this is a high digit, though, it's 6 or 7, isn't it? And both of those might be possible, which is a bit distressing. Although 6 and 7 would require this to be a 1 or a 2, and it can't be a 2. So that's come right down to only being able to be 1 or 7. There's definitely a 4 in this domino. That can't be a 9 by sudoku. Have I not seen this black digit? That's something I'm very prone to do. I get given black digits so rarely. Okay, there is a 1 in one of those. I'm going to pencil mark it. 1, 2, 4, 5. That digit is 4 or 5. Okay, look at that. So that means in this column, this is a 1 or a 2. And this is a 1 or a 2. Which is almost trying to be very, very helpful. I do know that 2 lives in one of these squares as well as 1. If I could get the 6, that might be helpful. 6 is in one of these, but if I knew it was there, that would be a 1-2 pair. Okay, let's think again. Have we... Oh, I don't know, actually. Is there a reason this can't be 6 and 1? I do know one of these is a 6, but I know very little about 6s at the bottom of the grid, so that still looks fine to me. Actually, I'm going to have to watch the time. I have to go out in 5 minutes. Oh no, that's no good. That is no good. Come on, Simon, focus. 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see. It's this 1, 2, 3 triple, isn't it? I've not used that. I've not even thought about that, actually. 4, 5, and 7. So that's 4 or 5, because it can't be 7. So these are 4, 5, or 7, but that gives me a 4, 5 pair in this row, which does place 5 for me. And that means these two digits are a 3, 6 pair. Please be resolved. Please, please, please be resolved. It's not, is it? Can I get that one? Oh, you rotten thing. You rotten thing. You're not going to resolve, are you? I thought that was going to do it. Okay, so if these are from 4, 5, and 7, what else do we know about the world according to Menu? Menu, what have you done here? That 5 has knocked a 5 out of a couple of squares. So this square is that's a naked single. It can only be 6, look. From the row, it's got to be 3, 4, or 6, and it sees 3, 4 in its column. And that might do some... Oh, it's doing serious work. Yes, that's putting this as 6. Oh, that's not the way round I wanted it to go, but I'm so delighted that I've actually got a couple of digits in the puzzle now. Okay, so what are those two squares? They are 4. I've got to put 4 in. So that's 4, that's 8. So that's 4, that's 3, that's 1. Oh, this has done it. That has done it. Beautiful. This is a 1-2 pair, which we can now do. That's got to be in that order. This digit is not 1 or 2, so that's come right up to 3 or 4. And this is now a 2 in the corner. That still doesn't seem to want to resolve. This square is 1, 6 or 7, which also doesn't seem to want to resolve. That's a 6 though, so that's... oh no, it's still with chocolate teapotted down in the bottom corner. That's no longer a 6. So this square is a 7 or a 9, I see. So we can ask where 2 goes in this column. And there is only one place, and that tells us that that's got to be 7 now. Which gives us an 8-9 pair in these squares, which is now resolved. Which gives us 7, 6, oopsie, let me just see, 7, 6, 9. I thought I might have misclicked there. This is now 1, this is 6, that's 1, that's 3, that's 4, that's 4, that's 5, that's 7. This is 5 now, so that's 5, that's 4, that's 5, that's 4, that's 5, that's 4, and that square there is a 3. And no 3s in the corner today. But what a beautiful puzzle that is. That is simply gorgeous. Whoa, 850 people have solved that. I suppose it's been alive for a long time. That's yeah. So it was out sort of 4 or 5 months ago. But that is such a beautiful Sudoku. The ideas, I love it when constructors take 2 ideas and marry them up in an original way, where those 2 ideas, they seem like they were made to be together. The 3s here are so gorgeous, the way the logic could work with the whispers in columns 4 and 6. It was just sublime. This, and this are absolutely exceptional. Simply brilliant menu. And in fact, I really like that as well. I don't know if that was what I was meant to do down there, but the idea that these couldn't be the same polarity was cool as well. It's a sensational puzzle. Let me know in the comments how you got on. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind. We'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.